Hello everyone, this is Carla and welcome back to the studio and Merry Christmas everyone. So for this video I am going to be creating 3 completely different projects. So we're not going to make all cards. So one of my projects will be a fun fold card. Then my second project will be a Christmas ornament. And then my third project will be a set of Christmas crackers. So for my first project, we'll be making a rocker card. And for this card, I will be using the Sending Cheer bundle, both the stamp set and the set of dies. Now the set of dies are currently unavailable. They did sell out, so now they are listed as discontinued. These were in our current holiday mini catalog. I will also be using the Rocking Horse stamp set. I will be using this stamp right here that says Have a Rockin' Christmas. And then I'll also be using the Deckled Circles dies. So to get started, my pieces that I have a 5.5 by 5.5 inch piece of real red cardstock. I have a piece of basic white. This measures 4.5 by 4.5. I have a piece of candy cane striped vellum paper. Now this paper is not a Stampin' Up! Product. I bought this in Hobby Lobby and I do have a link to it in the description of the video. And then I have a 4.5 by 4 inch piece of basic white cardstock. We'll use this to do our stamping. So for these pieces, okay, on this real red, I will be using this large deckled circle die, and I'll set that aside because we'll do all the die cutting at the same time. And then for my 4.5 by 4.5 piece of basic white, I'm going to use this deckled circle. And then for the vellum, I'll be using this deckled circle die. So on this piece, I'm going to bring in the gingerbread man stamp and the set of 3 hearts and the smiley face. So my ink colors, and no, the greeting, actually I'll be doing that later. So the colors I'll be using for this project are Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Real Red, and Shaded Spruce. So for my gingerbread men, I'm going to use the Pecan Pie, and I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp one down in this corner. Actually, I can do it next to each other. I'm going to stamp 2 of these. Like so. Okay, and then for the hearts, I'm going to do 1 in real red and 1 in shaded spruce. Now when I stamp these, when I ink up the stamp, I'm going to stamp off before I stamp it onto my gingerbread men. So I'm going to bring in my scratch paper. I'm going to ink up these in the real red. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp right over those hearts. And then I'm going to bring in my stamp and scrub, and I'm going to clean my stamp. So actually, let me add some cleaner. Now I do have Stampin' Mist in here, and I have another bottle that has water. So since I already have the cleaner on that one pad, I'm just going to add some water to it. Forgot to do that before I started. Okay, and then I'm going to I got my shaded spruce, And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ink it up, stamp off, and then stamp over the heart, like so. Okay, and then let's close these up. And then I'm going to bring in my early espresso ink. And I'm going to add the smiley face to my gingerbread men. Okay, close that up. Okay, and then I do have the die from the Sending Cheer dies. I'm going to die cut these two gingerbread men. So for this part, I will speed it up and I will be right back. Okay, so for my pieces, isn't straight. Let's make that straight. Okay, so for my pieces, I am going to take this piece and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer. Now that makes it easier in doing this part. So what I need to do with this piece, I need to fold it in half. So when folding it, if you kind of bend the cardstock, you can kind of tell which direction. I think it's the fibers in the paper, because one way it seems to be a little bit easier, like this way, to fold it than it is this way. Because if I fold it this way, I'll have less of a crackle in the middle when I go to fold it in half. So I find that this is the easiest way to get it even on both sides, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'll go ahead and I'll give that a nice crease. Now for these pieces, I'm going to cut these pieces in half. I did do a prototype of this card, and when I just took these pieces and put it over that, it didn't, when I went to fold it, it just did not look right. It kind of buckled the cardstock a bit. So I actually take these pieces and I cut them in half. So for the white piece, this measures, it's about 4¼ inch. So I'm going to bring this over to 2 1/8. I'm using another piece of cardstock to line it up at 2 1/8. I find this is the easiest way to get it to cut it in half. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to butt it up right against that piece of cardstock, hold down the guard, and then cut this piece. So I have two pieces that are cut in half. So I'm going to be using both of these, one on the front and one on the back. And then for my vellum, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm only going to be using one part of this. So when I cut this, I do want to cut it where the stripes are going at an angle. So for this piece, I'm actually going to cut this at 1 15/16. Okay. this at an angle, like so. That down and cut. Okay, these should be about, no, they're not near being even. Let's see which piece will be better. This didn't exactly cut even, so let's just take a little bit over here. Use this. I think this will look better now. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So then let me get this out of the way. And then for, let's see, for my gingerbread men, what I'm going to do for this piece, I'm actually going to remove these little loops because these are more like for tags. So I'm just going to trim these off so that way we don't have any little taggy things on there. Okay. And so let's bring in all our pieces. So on this piece will go on the front along with that. On this piece, I'm going to bring in my shaded spruce ink, and I'm going to bring in that stamp that says Have a Rockin' Christmas, and I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to stamp this about here. Okay. And let's see, we don't need our inks anymore. Okay, so let's assemble this. Let me bring in my silicone craft sheet, and I got my adhesive. So for the vellum, if by using this seal, and I'm only adding like a little bit on the ends, in the middle on the top, and then on the bottom. When I attach this to white cardstock, you will not see that adhesive. So I'm going to center this on this piece and press this down like so. So you can see you don't see the adhesive on this vellum. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my liquid glue, and I'm going to add some along the edges. And I'm going to center it on the front here. Try to get it where it's got an equal amount of the red on either side. And I'm just going to butt it up right to the top edge of this. Press that down. And then I'm going to take this other piece that I stamped the greeting on. I'm going to do the same thing, add the adhesive on that. And then by looking at this and seeing where I have the other piece, I'm going to line up this piece with that. We're going to butt that up to that top edge as well. Okay. I'm going to press that down. When I left it as one whole piece, it was this part here that was over the top that it looked like it was buckled, and so it didn't have a good look to it, so that's why I decided to cut the back and the front piece. Okay, so then um, for our front, I am going to bring in my dimensionals, and I'm going to use these edge pieces, and I'm going to add one on each of the legs. I don't want to add any dimensionals above, right underneath the arms, because when I place it on this, they're actually going to stick up above the top edge of that card. I'm going to take the one with the red hearts, and I'm going to add him over to the left side, and I'm going to kind of put him at an angle. So I'm looking at the bottom of where the arms are, and I'm going to place him like that. So he's going to be a little bit at an angle to the left. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one, but more to the right. So about there. And you don't see the adhesive on the back. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my glue dots, and I'm going to add 2 of them to the base here, so putting it right over the vellum and the white piece, like so. And then for the next 2 items that I'm going to use, they are not Stampin' Up! Items. So one of the things that I'm going to use is this tartan ribbon that I got in Michael's. I will have a link to that in the description of the video. Now this ribbon, being that it is a Christmas ribbon, the store may or may not have it. I don't know. I think you may be able to also get it online. This is the regular price here in the US is $3.99, and since it is Christmas, it is marked down by 50%, so it's $1.99. So I actually got myself a few rolls of these because I really like this pattern of ribbon. So I'm going to make myself a small bow, but I'm not going to pull the loops really, really tight because I want this to be flat, and if I pulled it really tight, this knot will add bulk to the front of the card. So I'm going to make my bow, and I'm going to trim the tails on this. Like so. And then I'm going to remove these backings to the glue dots. And I'm going to add my bow right there. Now, if the tail of your bow sticks below the bottom of the card, you can always trim the tail just a little bit. Okay. And then the other item that I'm going to use, and I already pulled a couple of these out, these are the Peppermints Bits and Pieces from Tailored Expressions. I'll have a link to this also in the description. So I thought it'd be really cute to have these on this card as well. So I'm going to add 3 drops of my liquid glue. I'm going to kind of form like a triangle. And then bring in my take your pick tool, and I'm going to use the spatula end and the putty end, and I'm just going to place these in the glue and use my spatula end just to kind of press it into the glue. So just make sure that these are stuck down. Okay, so what's really cool about this card is when you have it standing up like that, it actually rocks. Now it's a little choppy because I used the decal dies on this, but if you have large circle dies, it'll be smoother and it'll rock a little bit better, but really super cute card. So on to our next project. Okay, so for my second project, I'm going to be creating an ornament that I had made. Now a little bit of background with this. So since 2013, at my church and usually within the first week of December, the ladies have a women's Christmas banquet. And ever since then, I've always created like some kind of little ornament or something just as a gift for everyone that's attending. Now, this is not anything, like my church, asked me to do. It's just something that I like to do myself. And so this is the ornament that I created. And so I'm going to show you what I did to make this. Now, most of the product on here is not Stampin' Up, but some is. So I am using the Stars at Night stamp set. I'm using the Merry Christmas greeting on this one. I'm using the Night Divine dies, and I'm using this die here. And then I'm using the Stars at Night. Now this is bundled with a hybrid embossing folder, but in the dies I am using this little Star of Bethlehem. And then you also using the deckled circles again, and I'll be using this smaller one. So to start off, I did take a flat round wooden ornament, and I did use this folk art color shift white flash acrylic paint, and I brushed a really thin coat of it so it just leaves a little bit of a pearlized look, and I did that on both sides of it. So I did this in advance so that way it was dry and we can do the project. Now I will have a link to these wooden ornaments. I did get them off of Amazon, and you do get quite a bit of them in a package. And then the paint, I got this in Michael's, and I'll have the link for that as well. So for my pieces of cardstock that I used for this, I have a 3x3 piece of Night of Navy. I have a 3x3 piece of Cosmic Sky paper. This is a 12x12 scrapbook paper, and I got this in Hobby Lobby, so I have a link for that as well. And then I have a 2x2 piece of Boho blue cardstock. And then I have a 1.5 by 1 inch silver shimmer paper. This too I got in Hobby Lobby. Now, a lot of things, usually when I do these ornaments, because I'm making quite a few of them, there's times that I will get product that is not Stampin' Up. So I wanted a starry background paper, and unfortunately Stampin' Up they did have a pack of paper that was part of this Oh Holy Night suite, but there would have only been like 2 sheets that would have had you know, like a starry background. And yeah, I would have needed quite a few packs of it just for that image. So that's why I went with getting this paper at Hobby Lobby. So for the piece of Night of Navy, I'm going to be die cutting this deckled circle, and I'm going to do the same thing with the paper. So I'm going to set that aside. And then on this piece of boho blue, I'm just going to die cut the center portion of this die, and then I'll be trimming the excess off of that. And then on this silver glimmer papes or shimmer paper, what is this called again? Silver shimmer paper. I'm going to die cut that star. Once I die cut this piece of Night of Navy, I am going to bring in this stamp that says Merry Christmas. This comes from the Stars at Night stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that in Versamark ink, and then I'm going to emboss it with silver embossing powder. So for this part, I'm going to speed it up, and I will be right back. Okay, so let me bring in my pieces. So I'm going to bring in this wooden ornament, and I'm going to bring in my liquid glue, and on one side I'm going to add this paper to it, and I'm going to center that on my ornament. And press that down. Okay. And then on the other side, I'm going to take the Merry Christmas that I had heat embossed with my silver embossing powder. And I'm going to add that to where the Merry Christmas is at an angle. So I had made 62 of these ornaments for this year's Christmas banquet. Okay, so then on this piece here, I don't need all of it. I just want the portion that has the Holy Family. So I'm going to snip these other extra bits that I don't need. Like so. Then on the back of this, I'm going to bring in my mini dimensionals. And I'm going to add 2 of them on each one of, well, 2 on Joseph and 2 on Mary. Put one up there, and one near the bottom. I'll remove these paper backings, and then I'm going to place this down, make sure that it's straight, and I'll place this towards the bottom of the ornament like so. Press that down. And then for the star, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue in the back of that. And then I'm going to place that kind of like in the middle here. Just hold that down for a moment. Okay. Now, I've also used the Night of Navy and gold glitter ribbon. I will tell you that this gold glitter does get everywhere. This was in our holiday mini catalog, and it's actually going to be carrying over. So I don't know if it'll be in the annual catalog or if it'll be in the online exclusives. So I'm going to cut a piece of that, and I'm going to fold the ends, and I'm going to go in through these two holes on either side of the hanger. Pull that through. Other side. And I'm going to have this ribbon, I'm going to twist it so I have the glitter on the outside. And then I'm going to pull this so it's tight. And then I'm going to tie this, just do like one knot. But when I go to do this, I want to make sure that my tail is going to have the glitter. That way you can see it. Now I'm going to pull that kind of tight. And then I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I'm going to just angle cut on the ends like so. And you can see glitter does get everywhere. Okay, and then for the hanger, I have this gold cording. I got this off of Amazon, and I have linked that in the description as well. So I'm going to take a piece of this, and let's see, I'm going to put one end through that hole, and it's easier to just kind of fold it over because this does easily fray. Now, the other item that I'm using, this came from Hobby Lobby. This is, what is this one called? These are glass beads. These are the color gallery, and I do have these linked. This, like I mentioned, I did get in Hobby Lobby, so I only used one. And I'm going to take my cord and I'm going to fold it tight, because then I'm going to take this bead and the cording will go through that hole. Just have to kind of twist it. And then I can pull it through. Okay. And then I will tie this in a knot, like so. and then I will trim it. And there we go. There's our ornament. Gold glitter all over the place. So there's the one side. There's the other. And then I did use one of my Night of Navy Stampin' Right marker, and I did sign my name, and added the year in which I did it. So that is our second project. On to our third. Okay, now that I got all that gold glitter all cleaned up, for my third project, I'm going to be making Christmas crackers, and I will be using the cracker and treat box die. So this is the die, and I'm going to make 3 of them. So I have 3 different patterns. This is from the Celebrate Everything DSP. This is retired paper, and I cut all 3 of these at 6 by 5. So I want to give a shout out to a fellow demonstrator that's in the UK. Her name is Lori Othen, or Othen. I apologize, Lori, if I mispronounced your last name. Her business name is Stampinology. She does have a YouTube channel, and I will link to her video where the title of it was Make Your Own Christmas Crackers. Now, she did make one using this die. She made another one to make it a little bit thicker, to put bigger items in just by adding an extra piece. And then she also she made a template for creating larger ones. So I'm just going to create 3 of them using the die. But like I said, I will link to her video in the description so you can see the other projects that she did making Christmas crackers. So for this part, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to die cut all 3 of these pieces, and I will be right back. Okay, so let me bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to score on each of the score lines. Okay, and then on these other score lines, there's one here, there's one where the diamonds kind of meet, and then there's another one right up here. So I will fold in on this one. Okay, and then on the diamonds, I'm going to fold that back, burnish that, and then we'll fold this part right here. And I will burnish that. So we kind of created like a zigzag. So then I'll do the same thing on this side. And fold this. fold back, and then piece. Okay, and then let's see, make sure I get this right. Okay, so I'm going to add some adhesive. So I'm going to actually bring in my tear and tape for this. And I'm going to add some adhesive on this part here. Let's see, do we need to put it on that part as well? Yeah. Piece here. And then just a little piece in these ends right here. So I'm going to remove these paper backings. Bring in my Take a Pick tool. And then I'm going to bring this piece and fold it over. And I'm going to line up we're going to try to line it up. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Line these up. That. And we'll line these up. And then do the same thing on this side. Line that up. Okay. So that is our first cracker. So I'm going to set this aside. Well, actually, what I'll do is I will fill it. So I got a candy stash here. So let's see what would actually fit in here. But what I'm going to do with this first, I'm going to bring in some white baker's twine. Now this is retired white baker's twine, but we do currently have in our catalog this baker's twine essentials pack, and there is a basic white color in there. So I'm going to take and grab like 2 pieces of twine, and I'm going to take one and I'm going to tie it around. And I'm just going to create Well, I'm going to try and create a little bow. Okay, for this one, I'm just going to tie a knot because my baker's twine is just a little too short. Okay, so then for the inside, let's see, I got some of these pieces. Let's see if these will fit. Okay, these will fit, and you can get at least 2 of them in there, and then you would take your other piece of twine and you would tie the other end. And so I won't knot this one. I'll just tie it the one time. And there's our first cracker. These make great, table favors. This is kind of like a traditional type thing that's out in England and in Canada and the other Commonwealth countries that I did read a little bit about the background of these, but yeah, really cute treat holder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed up the video now, and I'm going to put together these 2 crackers, and then I'll come back and we'll fill them and we'll finish off by tying them off. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have them together, and what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some of this Real Red ribbon. This is from the Real Red and Garden Green ribbon combo pack. This is currently in our annual catalog. So I'm going to cut a piece of this, and I'm going to tie it around this one end. And I don't think I cut a piece long enough. Okay, we made it work. Okay, and then for the firework one, I'm going to use the Parakeet Party Metallic Woven Ribbon. So I'm going to cut a piece of this. We'll tie the one end. Like so. Now, in addition to those chocolates, I have these mint truffle Hershey Kisses. So let's see what we can get in here. So we got there's one that goes in there. We got 2, 3, and I think we may be able to get at least 4 in there, maybe 5. Yeah, actually we did get 5. So let me cut another piece of the Real Red ribbon, and we'll tie up our other end. Like so. Okay, really cute. And then for this one, let's see, we'll go ahead and put another 2 of these in there. Yeah, this one Maybe we can get 2 of these kisses in there. Nope. And this is coming untied. And let's get another piece. And we'll tie this in. And of course, you can cut a bigger piece and you can tie a bow rather than tie a knot, because that way they don't have to tear apart the cracker, to get what's inside of it. So really cute. Would make really great table favors or just little treat holders to give as little gifts. So let me go ahead and bring in all the projects that we made today. So we started off with this really cute rocker card. So something a little bit different, of course, a card to play around with. So we made that. Then I remade the ornament that I made for our Calvary Chapel Bartlett Women's Christmas Banquet that we had on December 1st. And then I made these 3 cracker treat packages. And again, I have the link in the video for Lori Othen. Again, I apologize, Lori, if I mispronounced your last name, but she has a really awesome video that she just recently did, that she made these crackers, but then she also did a modification to these to make them a little bit wider, and then she also created a template to make a much larger one. So I hope you like these projects, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It does help me in building it. And again, I thank you for joining me, and I hope everyone is having a really blessed Merry Christmas. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.